So hope you are getting what I am trying to say. Okay, na? Now let's move on. So today we are going to create one Spring Core application, and we create a command line runner, and from that command line runner we want to call the REST endpoints and we want to consume the data. And at the time of creating the next project, the Spring Boot starter project, we are going to add web dependency because of REST template class. REST template class comes from web dependency. But when we add web dependency, that web dependency also by default embeds Tomcat server. But actually I am creating a core application which doesn't require any server. So what I do now, I will exclude the Tomcat server from web dependency. So I will show you how you can add exclusion tag in the form.xml file. I want a Spring Boot starter web dependency without Tomcat. So you can exclude the Tomcat. For excluding the Tomcat from the web dependency, then you have a exclusion tag. So I am going to show you how you can do that. Let me tell you all. We'll start creating project now. I will start our IDE. One IDE. Choose a workspace. Right, okay, choose a workspace. Right. Choose a workspace. Right. Now this is our yesterday's example and it is working. Now today we are creating a new Spring Boot starter project, Spring starter project. Now this project is a client. Client means PMS client. And suppose my package name is com.client. Choose web dependency. Only web dependency, nothing is required, only web dependency. Choose web dependency, then next and finish. Choose the next option, then choose the finish option. Now this is my PMS client. Actually first I would like to open the pom.xml. So I have opened pom.xml file. I have opened it. Clear, I have opened pom.xml. Now see in the pom.xml we have already web dependencies added. Actually web dependency is required because this web dependency includes REST template, Jackson data bind API for serialization, deserialization, for serializing the object, for deserializing the object into. So this dependency is required, sure. But actually it also includes Tomcat as a by default server. It embeds Tomcat as a server. But I don't want Tomcat server because my application I don't want to run on a server. It is not a web application. Just I would like to make it as a simple core application. So just what you can do now, you can exclude the Tomcat server. Means you want this dependency without Tomcat. See, so suppose if you want to exclude, okay, if you want to exclude, then you have a tag. That tag name is exclusions. Exclusions contains exclusion as a child tag. Exclusion contains group ID and artifact ID. So this is artifact ID. Now from this dependency, this is excluded. Tomcat is excluded. So when you want to exclude any particular dependency from another dependency, if you want to exclude one dependency from other dependency, then this is a tag to add exclusions. And these exclusions have a child tag called what? Exclusion. Exclusion tag contains what? Group ID and artifact ID. Right? Now it's completed. Now next. I want to create a command line runner. Okay, I would like to create a command line runner. So first I want to create a new package now. Package name is com.client.runner. Right click new, class. Say class name is my runner. And now this class my runner implements command line runner. Okay, the class my runner implements command line runner. Now here you have to understand one by one. First, I want to make this my runner as a Spring component. I want to make it as a component. So next, are clear? Component. Now first I want to create what? REST template object. So first I want to create what? REST template object. You know what next after creating REST template object? I have methods, get for object, post for object, like that. See, first I want to call all products endpoint. Already yesterday there is an endpoint called all products. Another endpoint is /ID, products by manufacturer. Various endpoints are there now. Product/add, product/update, product/delete/ID. These are the various endpoints of our application. Yesterday we created. We have created yesterday all these endpoints, right? So if you want, I will write a description here. See, look at this. For example, we have the endpoints. This is a HTTP method endpoint. And we have a description, right? I'll tell you. This is HTTP method. This is endpoint. Now this is description. So if you look at the endpoints here, what is the one endpoint? The endpoint is, first endpoint is very simple. First HTTP method is get. The endpoint is a /all products. Description what returns? All products. Okay, we have this one endpoint. And the other endpoint is HTTP method is get. But you have an endpoint called what? Only /ID. That is called ID endpoint. It returns a product by ID. You have one more endpoint. /products manufacturer. Description what returns? Products by manufacturer. So I have a post method /product /add. This is going to add a new product. Then we have a put product /update. Updates a product. Delete /product /delete /ID. Deletes a product by ID. This is our application. These are all the various endpoints we have. These are the HTTP methods that are accessible. Right. I'll tell you now. Okay, we'll move on. Are you clear now? Now these are the various endpoints we have. Slash product slash delete by ID. Various endpoints are there. These are all the various endpoints. Now these endpoints we want to call from client application today using REST template. Right. When I call all products, which returns what? A list of product DTO objects. Now, I like to write, observe here. Actually, this is going to take a bit time to explain you what the point is. So look at this. The concept is we are calling all products endpoint which returns a list of product DTO objects. I want to capture the data coming in response and I want to store into generic type called a list of product DTOs. Actually, the endpoint returns list of product DTOs in the response body, but that is traveled in the form of JSON. The data is sent in the response to the client as a JSON data, an array of JSON strings. But I would like to capture that array of JSON strings into a generic type called list of product DTOs. So see, in this case, I must call exchange method. And while calling exchange method, there are various parameters are there. I will tell you what parameters are there for exchange method. Right. The first parameter is going to be, the first parameter is going to be URL. Second parameter is going to be HTTP method. Third parameter is going to be, is there any body is required in the request or not? If request doesn't require any body, then the third parameter is going to be null. If you want to send any headers or if you want to send any body, then you have to create HTTP entity object. Third parameter is HTTP entity object, otherwise null. And the fourth parameter is a parameterized type reference object. And that parameterized type reference class is to provide a generic type into which you want to capture and store the data. So there are 4 parameters required while calling exchange method. And exchange method always returns a response entity object. Exchange method return type is a response entity object. I would like to write here. I am going to call actually exchange method. First of all, which endpoint I am going to call? I'll let a comment here. Which endpoint I am going to call? all products endpoint I want to call. I want to call. What is the endpoint URL? I'm ready. Comments. HTTP localhost. I think yesterday we have used a port number for our endpoints, means for our REST application. Two three two four. Product REST API / all products. This is the endpoint URL. This is a URL which you like to call now. Now, which method we want to use? Exchange method we want to use. Exchange method first parameter is a URL. Second parameter HTTP method. Third parameter HTTP entity object. When to use HTTP entity object? If you want to exchange any headers in the request, or if you want to send any request, if you want to send any Java object as a JSON format or in XML format in the request body. So then what to do now? You just add the headers and add the body of a request to the HTTP entity object. Use this HTTP entity object to add a header and body. To add headers or add body request. So right now, presently, I don't want to send any headers or I don't want to send any body. I don't want to send any headers or I don't want to send any body in the request. Fine. Third parameter is null. So this is, the method which I am calling here. Exchange method I am calling. First parameter with param 1, param 2, param 3, param 4. Param 1 is the endpoint URL. Param 2 is a HTTP method. Param 3 is HTTP entity. But create HTTP entity object when you want to send any headers or when you want to send any body in the request. But in my example, I don't want to send any headers and I don't want to send any body in the request. So I'm going to pass null. Fourth parameter is the parameterized type reference object. Parameterized type reference. So your param 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, right. Are you getting my point? Right now. So I will call the method. Okay, this way. Okay, param 1, 2, 3, 4. Param 1 endpoint URL, param 2 HTTP method, param 3 HTTP entity, and param 4 parameter type reference. See what I'm doing now, first I'm going to create parameters type reference object. Actually, this is an abstract class. Parameters type reference is an abstract class. Right? It is an abstract class. I like to say parameter type reference is an abstract class. Right. Now, I like to tell you, it is an abstract class. We have to create what? Anonymous inline subclass. See, I will tell you how I can create now. And I want to, when to use parameter reference, to capture and store the data into a generic type. To capture the data and store it into generic type. You can provide that generic type with the parameter type reference object. Here my generic type is a list of product DTOs. So in this client also we need a product DTO. We'll copy from the REST application the same package. Whereas in case of real time, the service provider will prepare a jar file with that class or with that classes, and it will release a jar file, and you have to just download it and add it to your class path. Here we have in same system, we just copy paste. Okay. Package name we use the same, otherwise we can just change the package name as com.pms to com.client, whatever it is. I can refactor the package name. Okay, now? This is the product DTO, because I want to capture the result into list of this product DTOs. So copy from the REST application to here. And here what I'm going to do is, see, first I want to create a parameterized type reference object. Actually these are abstract class, directly we can't create object. We are creating an object for its inline subclass. So we can create anonymous inline subclass like this. Anonymous inline subclass. Parameterized type reference. Of list of product DTO. Say some type ref is equal to parameterized type reference of list of product DTO is equal to. Now this is the parameter reference class. And the generic type I want to capture is a list of product DTOs. So type ref is equal to new say parameterized type reference of list of product DTO. And you know, this is actually this is anonymous inline subclass, anonymous inline. So this is the way of creating parameter type reference object. Actually, it is an abstract class, but we are providing an anonymous inline subclass, and we are creating its object. So now we got the object name is typeref, and the generic type is a list of product DTOs. So means what, you use this object when you want to capture the data into a generic type. So I want to capture the data and I want to store it into this generic type called list of product DTOs. Now call exchange method. So exchange method always returns a response entity object. So response entity, and the result type is a list of product DTO, the body. Say RE is equal to rest template dot call exchange method. The first parameter of exchange method is the URL, HTTP localhost 2324 product REST API / all products is the endpoint. First parameter. The second parameter is HTTP method. Send a request to this URL with HTTP get method. So HTTP method is one enum. It has constants, and the constant which I want is get. The second parameter is HTTP method dot get. Third parameter is the HTTP entity, and that HTTP entity is actually used to exchange any headers or body in the request. But I don't want to exchange any headers, or I don't want to exchange any body in the request now. So the third parameter is a null object I am passing, and the fourth one I am passing as a type reference. The first one is a URL, second one is the HTTP method. It is actually one enum, and this enum HTTP method is one, it's a enum type. It has constants, and get is one of the constant. And the third parameter is actually HTTP entity, but I am passing null because I don't want to send any headers or body, and that's the reason why I am simply passing null. Third one is a type reference object. That is a parameter as a type reference object. It's a parameter type reference of list of product DTOs. Right? So now to response entity object is actually used to store the data and status. It can also store headers, but in this example the response contains headers and status. Response contains data and status, because this endpoint is going to return data is a list of product DTOs, data is a list, and status is okay, HTTP status okay. So to read data we have a get body method from this response entity class. To read data from response entity object, get body is a method. To read status, get status is a method. But I wanted only the body without, I don't want it in status. So then I will tell you what I am doing actually. I would like to do one thing. See, list of product DTO, say product DTO list equal to RE dot get body. So we have method like get body, get status, get headers. but I wanted only bodies, so get body is a method. Now finally what you got, a list of product DTOs. And now finally I would like to, what I would do, I would like to just iterate the list, and I want to show one by one product. So product DTO list dot for each. See, if you want to print each product as a string, then you can override a toString method. So I say system dot out double colon println. I will open that product DTO, and I'll override toString method. Now see, I will like to override what toString method. Now it's going to now this is going to print that current object. The current object of product list is a product object, so it's going to print all product object one by one. Okay, right. Next, I would like to are clear? Okay, I would like to run this application now. But one more thing, only one endpoint we are calling, all products endpoint. But actually, to call this endpoint, this server must be running. If the server is not running, for example, 2324 server is not running, then you are going to get connection exception. First see, actually there is no 2324 server is running now. Okay, the server is not running now. Okay, let's run this my runner. Let's run this application, client application. And now you can see exception, connect exception, connection refused. Why? Because the port number 2324 is not running. 2324 is not running now. So we got exception here. Okay, now. So I would like to run this REST application first. Now the REST application is running. Now I will run the client application. Because server is running, 2324 port is running now. Now this is a client console. Now we can see you got all the products information onto PMS client application. Means what? This is not getting any exception now. So this is just one endpoint is called. It means what? This client application is calling all products endpoints and getting all the products DTO. Means all the products information. And we want to capture that response into list of product DTOs. When you want to capture into a generic type, then you need to create a parameter as a type reference object, and you have to call exchange method. If it is a string or an integer or a double, it is not a generic type. So you can directly call get for object method, right? Exchange method is not required. Directly call get for object method because you don't want to capture the data into generic type. Because you don't want to capture the data into what? A generic type. So in such case, then you don't need to call exchange method. You can directly call get for object method. Okay. Now that's a difference you are finding between them. Now that's all. This is one endpoint we have called. Means one endpoint we tested. Which endpoint we tested? All products. It's working. It's returning a list of product details. Actually, it is not sending directly list because it's a REST application. We'll send the data in a JSON format, but I want to capture that data into generic type list of product details. And actually, for that reason, we have created a parameterized type reference object. Parameter type reference object is used to capture the data into generic type. Is to capture the data into generic type. Okay. Right. Next. One endpoint we called. Similarly, by ID endpoint is there. So this endpoint already we have tested now, so I would like to keep this in comment. The next endpoint which you would like to call is a second endpoint. The endpoint which we are calling is /ID. The endpoint URL is http localhost 2324 /product trust API and /ID. Now here I am not going to call exchange method, I can call get for object method because I do not want to capture that response into generic type. I just want to capture that response into just one product DTO type. But I don't want into a not a generic type, just directly product DTO type. So I can call get for object method, or I can call exchange method also. But we can also call get for object. So I would like to explain with the get for object now. The method what I am calling is get for object. And this method has three parameters. First one is a URL, param1, param2, param3. First one is a URL. Second one is a class object of required type. Third parameter is a values for URI variables. The first one is a string URL. Second one is a class object of required type. And third argument is a object dot values, means values to the path variables. So product DTO, so P DTO is equal to REST template dot get for object, and the first URL is a http localhost :2324 /product trust API /ID. comma, second parameter is a product DTO dot class required type. So remember, it is not a generic type, it is just only a single type. It's a normal type. And the third parameter is going to be values to the URI variables, path variables. The values to the variables, URI variables is ID. Say for example, ID I would like to pass 102. And just I want to print this product, PDTO. Now the second endpoint I am testing here, that is with HTTP method get. So get for object is a method I am calling. Here I called exchange method. Call exchange method to capture into generic type, to capture the data in a generic type. Or if you want to exchange any headers or body in request. But here the response is not a generic type. I would like to capture it into a product DTO type. It's not a generic type. And this has the one path variable. And so we are passing only one value here. If there are two path variables in the URL, then this third argument is going to contain two values. And now we can run this client application. Server is already running. 2324 is a port. Other will get connect exception. And now you can see I got the response. Now I got the data of only one product with ID 102. So the two endpoints we have tested today, the one endpoint we tested is all products, other endpoint we tested is what? /ID. Likewise, we can test the remaining endpoints in the session tomorrow. So to consume the REST API, okay, to consume the API, REST API in a Spring application, use REST template. And I would like to give you one more time very clearly that REST template is used to call the REST endpoints and get the data. That REST application may be a Spring application. In our example, that service also Spring only. But maybe service is a Java REST service, or maybe Python service, or maybe .NET service, doesn't matter. So REST template is a class used by Spring applications for consuming the REST APIs. It doesn't matter that API developed in Spring or in Java or in .NET or in Python or in PHP, doesn't matter. Right. So this is the session for today. We will continue this in session tomorrow to complete the remaining endpoints. We'll call manufacturer endpoint, add endpoint, update endpoint, delete endpoint, and we'll check whether this application is consuming the REST API or not. All URLs of the API or not. So two URLs we have tested. One is to get all products, other one is to get ID, to get a product by ID. Okay, na? Okay, na? That's it for now.